Hey guys, what is up? We've got El Clásico coming tomorrow. Barca is playing Madrid at the Santiago Bernabéu, and it's obviously a huge game, the arguably the biggest game of the season, possibly the biggest test, as we're playing Real Madrid, who's got possibly the the most talented squad in the world right now. I think many would say. For tomorrow's game, I think the most important thing for Barca supporters to keep in mind is that this is just one more match day in La Liga. If we win and we take a 6 point lead in La Liga, fantastic, amazing. We should celebrate, and it should be a strong reinforcement that what we're doing is definitely positive for the club and that we should continue in that direction. But if worse comes to worse, suppose we have an awful night and we go down 4-0 against Madrid, that should not be interpreted as like let's ditch Flick style and go to something different, get a new coach. If we lose, that's totally fine. I think that what Barca supporters should be ready for is precisely that. Not that it's the most likely outcome. I think the most likely outcome is that it's going to be a close game, but with Barca's style where we press really high, where we take a lot of risks defensively, we play with the defensive line very high up, it's very possible that just a couple of individual mistakes can lead to easy goals for Real Madrid. And let's remember that Barca is dealing with important injuries, not only in the goal, but also our arguably our two best center backs, Araujo and Christensen, are unavailable. Some might say Cubarsí and Inigo Martinez are better than Christensen. No point in getting into that, but the point is that Araujo, who is our most physical defender, is not going to be available, as he hasn't all season. De Jong, Gavi, Olmo, and Fermin are all returning from injuries. In Gavi's case, an injury after being 1 year off. In De Jong's case, about 5 months. So we have a lot of missing players that would typically be playing if everyone was healthy. So and in addition to that, right, we're taking a lot of risks against a team who's got incredibly talented and explosive players like Vinicius and Mbappe. So if Barca plays very aggressively, takes a lot of risks, and as a result of a few defensive mistakes, Madrid scores a few goals, that is something that is fine. It's obviously we're not going to like it, but it's something that we should be ready to accept and move on if it happens. Now, on the other hand, of course, if we do get a win, take a 6 point lead in La Liga, that is going to be just an absolutely massive win. And I think that it's going to set us in a very advantageous position. I mean, 6 points, that's when Madrid is going to start feeling like, ooh, it's like the league is kind of slipping away, and that's what we gotta go do. I think Barca has to be true to itself. I think if we play a more speculative type of game, that's when Madrid really has the advantage, because in terms of pure talent and the ability to win close games, Madrid is just more equipped and has better players for that than we do. In terms of looking to dominate, even though Madrid has the players to do it, we are more prepared and have been playing in that type of way more consistently. So this could be a game for Barca, and what Barca should aim to do is to be dominant, to press really high and steal the ball in the attacking third, to be able to create easy opportunities, make it difficult for Madrid to play off the back, and really force Madrid to just play long balls, and hope that Cubarsí and Inigo Martinez, Koundé, and Balde are really aware and focused on what they have to do to minimize these situations. I think really one of the biggest keys for Barca is really going to be minimizing mistakes. We're not going to have a lot of margin for error, because if Cubarsí, Inigo Martinez, Koundé, are left in one-on-one situations with Vini and Mbappe, it's going to be very difficult every time because these are incredibly fast players. And I think Araujo is the only guy who is able to do very well in these situations in our team. There's very few defenders in the world who can, and but unfortunately, our guy is just not available. So it's going to be very important that all the players are providing a lot of help. Anytime that Madrid beats our press, we have to track back really quickly. It's going to be a huge team effort. Obviously, the midfielders like Casado, Pedri, and whether it's Olmo, Fermin, or De Jong, or Gavi, who knows? But whoever of these players is on the pitch, they're all going to have to track back. Whenever the ball gets to Vinicius on the wing, we're going to need one midfielder to go help, whether it's probably Pedri or Casado. So they're going to have to be helping out Koundé on the left wing and provide a lot of support, because without a lot of support, it is going to be very difficult to stop these guys. So we press aggressively, and when they beat the press, track back quickly and avoid one-on-one situations, because that's where Madrid really kills you, as we saw from Vinicius. In terms of my expected 11 for the game, not a lot of surprises. I think there's really only one position where it's difficult to tell. In attack, I think we all know who to expect, right? Rafinha, Lewandowski, and Lamine Yamal. I think they're there's really no contest there. It's going to be these three. In the midfield, that's where there's a lot of different possibilities, right? Although Casado and Pedri seem like a sure thing. Obviously, Casado is going to play in the base. Pedri, is he going to play in the base? Is he going to be a 10? Well, that's going to depend on who plays with them, right? I mean, if we have De Jong playing, then obviously De Jong and Casado are going to play in the base, and Pedri is going to play at the 10 position. But if we have Fermin or Dani Olmo, then it would make more sense for Pedri to play in the base with Casado and Fermin and Olmo in the 10 position. I expect that Hansi Flick is just going to repeat what we did on Wednesday against Bayern and go with Fermin. If he decided to take a bet on Fermin over Olmo against Bayern, it was probably because he was more fit to play. And if he was more fit to play against Bayern, I think that's going to be his pick for the Real Madrid game. So I think we're going to see Casado, Pedri, and Fermin. And this is going to be a game where these three are going to really have to hustle. I mean, these are not the biggest dudes, right? I mean, they're all between 5'7" and 5'9", I think. The metric system, that would be maybe like 168 to 175, something like that. Whereas Madrid's probably going to play with a midfield of Bellingham, Valverde, Camavinga, and Tchouaméni. Or maybe he's not going to play Camavinga or Tchouaméni and play Modric. We'll find out. But they're probably going to be playing against very physical midfielders, and it's going to be essential that Casado, Fermin, and Pedri really give it their all defensively to stay in the game, because it's going to be a challenging match for sure. In the defensive line, I expect it to be Balde at the left back, Inigo in the center back with Kubarsi, and Koundé in the right back. I don't think there's any reason to expect anything different since Araujo and Christensen are injured. In the goalkeeper position, I think it's going to be Iñaki Peña, simply because Szczesny has just not played yet, and it would be very unexpected for his first game to be precisely against Real Madrid. So I think he's going to stick with Peña. For Real Madrid, I think most likely we're going to be seeing Mbappe and Vini in attack. Rodrigo is injured, so I think it's unlikely that he's going to play like Brahim or Arda Güler. No way he's going to do that. We're going to see a midfield most likely with Bellingham and Valverde for sure, I would say. And then between Camavinga, Tchouaméni, and Modric, I think he could start with Modric on the bench and try to make it a physical game. But I could be wrong. And in the defensive line, I think it's going to be Mendy, Militao, Rudiger and Lucas Vasquez with Lunin in the goal since Courtois got injured as well. So a couple important injuries on both ends. Yeah, for Madrid, they're missing Rodrigo, Carvajal, and Courtois, right? Barca is missing Ter Stegen, Araujo, Christensen, and Ferran, Eric Garcia, and yeah, I mean, Gavi and De Jong are available, but not necessarily in the best situation to be playing. In terms of what I expect of this game, I think this is going to be a game where Barca is going to try to press really high and stay loyal to what they've been doing, and Madrid is going to switch things up depending on how the game goes. I think Madrid isn't necessarily going to look to press very high. I think Madrid will feel comfortable letting us try to attack them and leave space behind and look to hit us on the counter. So it's going to be very important that Barca attacks in an organized way so that when we lose the ball, we're not in a situation where Madrid has very favorable transition situations. It's going to be important to attack in a balanced way so that we don't do that. And ultimately, against a team like Madrid, it's largely going to come down to whether you're clinical and you can you can finish the situations that you have, because ultimately you're not going to get 10 clear chances to score against Madrid. You're probably not going to get 5 clear chances, but you might get 2 clear chances and a few not so clear chances like the ones Rafinha scored against Bayern. So if you're able to score the clear ones and a few of the difficult ones, hey, that's how you get 3-4 goals on the board, right? I think this is gonna be a game with multiple goals. I don't expect this to be like a 1-1. I think this is a game where we're likely to see 3 or more goals. I think a 3-2 in either direction is very possible. But again, I think this is a situation where anything could happen. I could see Madrid winning by multiple goals. I could see Madrid winning 4-0. I could see Barca winning 4-0. I could see a tie. I could see a close win, because Barca plays a very risky and very offensive type of play, which sometimes can yield very good results, but other times can result in getting multiple goals scored on you. So that's why I think it's going to come largely to whether the ball goes in or not. It might seem a bit of a cop-out in the analysis, but ultimately I think in a game like that it comes down to whether you score your chances when you have them. And if there's goals early in the game, whoever gets scored on is going to have to take more risks. If Barca is able to score before Madrid, then Madrid's going to start taking more risks and press higher up. If Barca does not score, then Madrid is probably not going to be pressing high. I think Barca is going to be pressing high either way, but sometimes when you score against a big team like Madrid, and that's what we saw against Bayern, right? Barca kind of maybe didn't want to take as many risks after scoring. So I think the amount of risks that teams are going to take is going to depend on what their situation is on the board. So I think this is going to be a game with a lot of phases, where teams are constantly changing what they're doing. At moments they're going to be pressing high, not pressing so high. And it's going to depend a lot on what they need. So it's difficult to predict how this game is going to go. I think it really could go anyway. If I had to bet with my heart, I would say Barca is going to be able to win 3-1 tomorrow. But I guess we'll find out. Let me know your thoughts on the comments and what you think the score is going to be, and I'll share my thoughts after the game.